In this video, I'm going to talk about how I entertain my toddler on long car journeys. We go for car journeys from the north of England to the south of England to visit our family, and it's about 200 miles and takes about 4 hours, 40 to 5 hours with rest stops. Hi everyone, my name is Nina, I'm a mum, and on this channel, welcome back. If you've watched some of my other videos, welcome if you're new here. I talk about all things to do with motherhood. I'm a first time mum coming up for air now that my son is a year and a half. I talk about breastfeeding, co-sleeping, baby wearing, a meat-based diet, feeding a hungry toddler, and all things to do with motherhood and how we can really thrive rather than just feel like we're surviving that first year. So as I said, in this video, I'm going to talk about how I manage my toddler who does not like napping in the car at all. It is a nightmare. It's very variable if he is going to nap in the car, and it's unpredictable. How I entertain him on these 4-hour journeys and how I keep him entertained and not just going a bit crazy, which can happen when they're cooped up in the car. So first things first is we start early. So starting early, we aim to get out the door within 1 hour of my son waking up. So if he's up at 7, we're out the door at 8. If he's up at 7:30, we're out the door by 8:30. Now, the reason for this is we all know our toddlers are much better in the morning because they've had their night's sleep. Even if they're up multiple times a night, my son is still up multiple times a night, but they're still much, much happier in the morning. And you want to take that nice, calmer toddler, put them in the car, and then go on your journey. Also, getting out the door first thing in the morning means you can beat some of the traffic because you don't want to be stuck on the motorway and have a toddler in the car. Especially if you're only going about 10 miles an hour. That is you just don't want it because it extends your journey. Your toddler gets frustrated, cooped up in the car, and they just don't like it. Hey, we don't like it as adults either. So in order to get out the door in such a speedy time, there are a few things you need to do in preparation. So first up, you need to make sure that all your bags are packed. You need to make sure that the only things you're picking up in the morning are things like soft toys, pajamas, toothbrushes. I mean, if you've got doubles, put the doubles in the bag and just leave everything from the morning. Don't do breakfast. That's my second point. But don't do breakfast before you leave. If it's possible, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. You can, as the parent, get up 15 to 30 minutes before your child does and just do the last minute packing. Get yourself dressed, get your teeth cleaned, and get yourself ready. Because if you're ready, then you can just get nappies changed, clothes on, water bottles at the ready, or just, if you need to give them a quick snack before you get out the door. I mean, hopefully not. The aim is get them in the car without eating so they can eat in the car. And also what you can do, because sometimes I've found with my son is that because it's a really fast morning, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. So what I've started doing is I get him involved. It's can he take, his soft toy? Can he put it in the bag with the pillows? Can he hold, the spoon, or can he bring something to the car? Can he hold his coat? Those small things, and just getting him involved helps him feel like he's included and he's helpful. It also keeps him in a good mood, and you want a toddler in a good mood when you get in the car for a long journey. Now, that brings me to my second point, which is do your toddler's breakfast in the car. So have it all ready. And you might be doing an unconventional breakfast as well, because you need it so that it's not messy. You're not going to have everything prepared. You're not going to have the high chair. They're going to be sitting in their car seat. You don't want loads of crumbs everywhere. You don't want spilt milk. So have it packed so that, if you're having a drink, have it in a sippy cup that isn't going to spill everywhere. Give them food that isn't really messy. If you can sit in the back with them, then sit in the back and feed them. That's what I do. Now, we don't have 2 children, so that makes it easier. I'm not sure what I'm going to do exactly with 2 when I have 2. Probably sit in the middle and be a bit squashed, but that'll be fine. When it comes to feeding, so I let Marcus feed himself a little bit, but then because of mess, I try to feed him. Because you're moving in the car, I either feed him with my hands or sometimes a spoon. I don't use a fork because, well, just in case you break and you don't want that to go in your toddler's mouth. Make sure you, in their breakfast box, pack more than you think they'll eat. Because chances are the day that you're on that long journey is the day that they're just going to eat everything. Even if they've been going through a period where they're not eating much. I guarantee the day that you go on your journey is the day they're going to eat everything. Also, so sometimes I find Marcus isn't hungry as soon as he wakes up. Sometimes it takes a little while. So if we're in the car, I don't try and force to feed him straight away. If he's asking for food, of course, I'll feed him straight away. If he's happy, then I will just wait a little bit and then let him ask me for food, and then I'll bring it out and feed him. I do put his bib on, just the one to catch food, and he likes putting it on, but it doesn't stay on the whole time. Just depends. Okay, third on the list is toys. So toys are really important in this journey, obviously, because we need something to entertain our toddlers. And I found the way that is quite good is to spread the toys out throughout the journey so that there's something constantly new, rather than him seeing everything in the first half an hour and just throwing it everywhere. I just give him one at a time. And then what's really important is actually to let him concentrate on that toy until he gets bored of it, because then he's exhausted it. And actually, when you let your child concentrate on the toy, they get more absorbed with it, and that helps them get engaged with it. They are usually a little bit quieter. Yes, there will be times that they get frustrated because they can't do it, like maybe zipping something or putting something in another object. Whatever the toy is, that something might irritate them, but that's fine. Just let them get a little bit irritated. If you need to help, offer help, but don't do it for them. Just help them do it. Not only does that build a sense of achievement, but also it's kind of like that's the challenge of the toy, and you want them to be engaged in that so that it takes up more time, which then gets you for, toddler tantrum free part of your journey. Now, when it comes to choosing toys, we actually have a set of toys that are specifically for the car. So Marcus only gets to play with them when he's in the car. For long journeys, I do bring some extra things. Some are brand new. Some are, have been in a box for a while and he hasn't seen them, but I know he likes them. Others are maybe firm favourites from home, just as backups. And depending on whatever developmental stage he's going through, I'll make sure he has toys appropriate to that. So currently, he loves taking things apart on locks and keys and twisting. He's really going through that twisting pattern, trying to learn how to undo things. So we have a little tub that has a lid that you twist. It's just a random one from the kitchen. We also have a lock and key, like a real one I just got from the pound shop, and he loves putting the key in, and then he's learning to twist it so he can open the lock. He knows that the lock opens, and he's learning how to unlock it. Also, a bag with a zip. Now, the bag with a zip, the zip itself is a game, but also the toys can be stored in that bag. So sometimes once he's gone through a lot of the toys and he just needs a bit more entertainment, I'll put all the toys away and I'll put them in the bag, and then I'll hand in the zip bag, or I'll hand in the zip bag empty and he'll play with the zip. Other good toys that you can have in your arsenal are fidget toys. So we got a fidget cube off of Amazon, and it has lots of different things on it, such as a fidget spinner. It has a light switch. It has like a deadbolt switch. It's got a tap It's got a nut and a screw, a plastic one. It's also got a few... Oh, it has also a lock and key, but we've lost the keys. You can also get others that have got door stops on it, which Marcus is particularly fascinated by door stops as well, but I don't have that. I've brought a couple Lego pieces for him. I think it was like 4 Lego pieces, and he just put them together. And he loved playing with those, putting them together, taking them apart. But we're only bringing a few, so it's not going to get really messy. Books are a big one. So we've got touchy-feely books. I've got some flat books. I've just got some normal books. And he likes to sit there and read them and look at the pictures or have me read them to him. You can also just use an empty water bottle as well. That is one of the firm favourites in our house. A water bottle with a cap, and he just loves to put the cap on and twist. A mirror is also great. So because our car seat is still rear facing, we chose a car seat that could be rear facing, even though he's 18 months, almost 19 months. We decided because it's safer, we would keep him rear facing. It's actually in a different car. And because of that, we have a mirror on the headrest of his chair so that he can look at himself but also see what's going on. He can see who is ever driving as well. And he likes to chat. He also likes to look at himself and just talk to himself in the mirror and practice saying words and things. So he entertains himself with a mirror. I have also... He's really fascinated by cards, like bank cards, gym cards. So if you've got any spare gym cards or store cards, anything like that, get a spare wallet and put them in the wallet, or a spare phone case, for example. So we have a flip phone case that's just a really old one my grandma gave him, and it has some card slots in it. So I put the cards in there, or just 2 cards. It's got a little magnet to close it, and I put that in a wallet, and that fascinates him for ages. One of the things you can also do to help with concentrating in the car is to encourage solitary play at home. Now, I'm not saying leave them in a room and just let them play. I mean, you could do that if you trust your toddler and they're okay with that, just to let them play. But I'm saying by encouraging solitary play, don't interrupt them when they're concentrating. So if you're in your playroom or wherever you have your toys and they've chosen something and they're concentrating and you see they can concentrate on it, leave them to it. Don't try and help them. Don't try and get them interested in something else. Let them concentrate on the toy they've got, because not only is that, well, it's respectful as well, because if someone interrupted you while you were concentrating, you'd get really annoyed and you'd tell the person. I mean, think about your child interrupting you when you're trying to concentrate. It's very irritating. So don't do it to them. It also helps them build those like mental muscles to be able to concentrate. Obviously, if you need them to not concentrate anymore because you need to get them somewhere, you need to, go to the loo and you can't leave them where they are, obviously, you need to break their concentration. But I'm saying if there is the time and the space to do it, leave them to concentrate until they come and invite you in. If they're starting to get annoyed but they're still concentrating, leave them to concentrate until they invite you in. Or, if it looks like they need a little bit of help, you can offer it, but if they don't accept it, just leave them to it and wait. Let them solve the problems, because they've got to work through those emotions and those frustrations anyway. It's just part of them learning. Our next point is, when you take a rest stop at a service, this is wherever, run around. Let your toddler run around. So the reason, we know our toddlers are incredibly active. If you have a really active toddler like I do, then run around at rest stops is paramount to keeping them calm in the car when you get back in the car. There's also the main reason why they need to move is also the movement helps their brain integrate. It changes their brain chemistry, and young children need to move to learn. It helps them make those and maintain and develop those neural connections. It's the way they figure out the world. It's the way they experiment. And as I'm sure you've all noticed, when you go outside and let them run around in the park, they just get so much calmer. So we actually, when we're at service stops, we don't have Marcus on a harness. We don't strap him in the pram. We just carry him in and then put him down when it's safe to do so, and let him walk around. I mean, if I need to hold his hood or his hand or something, then I'll do that. But as much as possible, we let him just roam. Safely, of course, we're always nearby, never on his own. But we just let him roam so that he feels that freedom and he's happy, which means our journey is a lot happier. You can also plan your rest stops according to, well, not staying in the car for more than an hour and a half to 2 hours, because toddlers are not going to manage longer than that. And which services have good soft play areas or an outside area to play in. It's not always possible, but as you do the journeys, just mark on your map if you find a good one, because then maybe on your journey back, or if you're doing the journey again, you can plan it so that you can stop it there. One of the benefits also about starting early in the morning is that you're usually traveling during the day. And we do choose to travel during the week if we can, rather than the weekend, because it makes it a lot easier. I do know some parents actually who travel at night. If you're doing a really, really long journey, they start at night, because then the kids because it's nighttime, you've got melatonin, and in the developing because of sleep and everything, sometimes that's easier, but whatever works. But this was what works for us. Next, pack lots and lots of snacks. No one likes to be hungry and grumpy because you're hungry, and nobody likes a hungry toddler. They are just hungry all the time. If they are hungry, just the whinging drives you nuts. So pack lots of snacks. As I mentioned with breakfast, like overpack the food for the day, so that everybody is well fed. You can feed them in the car, feed them at rest stops, give them water, make sure everybody's tummies are full. Because sod's law, that the day that you don't forget to pack, or that you say, oh, they haven't been hungry, it doesn't matter, is the day they're going to be really hungry, and you do not want a hungry toddler in the back of the car, because it's just annoying. It's also really important, if you've got any allergies or anything, like we do in our family, having extra, because you never know if you're going to be able to find food that you can actually eat. I also recommend that you stay away from sugar at all costs, because if you give your kid sugar and then they're strapped in the back of the car, they are not going to be able to burn off that sugary energy that they are going to be needing, and they'll just bounce off the walls and they'll just go a bit mental. And they will need hardcore exercise to build off that sugar, to work off that sugar. So really stay away from the sugar. It just won't do you any favours. Stick to nutritious, low sugar or zero sugar foods. If you've watched my other videos, you'll know that we're on a meat-based diet, and a lot of it is pretty much all meat at the moment because of our Marcus's eczema elimination diet. So I would always suggest meat and fat, because it will keep your toddler fuller for longer. It won't spike their blood sugar levels, and it will just make them calmer. And then lastly this is about toys, but I needed to put it at the end because it's really important. It has its own title, is Save the Musical Toys for Emergencies. Kids' musical toys are so annoying. I don't know about you, but they are so annoying. I do not like kids' musical toys. But if needs must, you need the musical toy to be interesting and new. So I only give a musical toy when, like, maybe we're stuck in a traffic jam and we cannot stop. Then I'll bring out the musical toy. If it's for when your kid is at the end of their tether and they're just going to lose it, but this could save it. This is also why I don't use musical toys earlier in the journey, because otherwise their brain is just fatigued by all the noise, because they're getting sensory overload. So if you give them quiet toys to play with throughout the journey, because they don't need musical toys and lots of stimulation first thing in the morning, but they might need extra stimulation and interest later in the journey. So that's why save it for last. Don't let your kids see it when you get in the car. Make sure it's packed away, but easily accessible if you need to get at it. That way, when they are starting to lose it, or about to just before, you can just grab it and give it to them, and then they're like, ooh, new things, ooh. So that is what I would suggest for musical toys. And these are my suggestions. This is how we manage long car journeys with our toddler, who does not like to nap in the car. Hopefully your toddler will nap when you get to your destination. Mine does most of the time, but sometimes it takes a little while. Depends on if it's a new place or if we're back home. So hopefully you'll manage the car journey with a tired toddler, but no tantrums. Let me know in the comments if any of these work for you, what you liked, how have you managed long car journeys. I'd be really interested to find out, because we're still at the very beginning of our journey, kind of helping our son, now that he can understand what I'm saying, to nap in the car if we need him to. So thanks for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you like the video. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you can get updates of other videos, and please let me know if there's anything you want to see, because this motherhood lark is tough, but we can do it. Okay, that's it, and thanks for joining me.